Hello guys, Kovacs here, and today I'm decided to actually jump back into DayZ because I noticed a couple new mods in the DayZ Commander, and one of them was this, the DayZ Civilian. Now, the most interesting thing that I seen on DayZ Civilian, besides the civilian cars you can get, were the fact that they put in new buildings such as those apartments right there, which you can't get into, and they seem kind of unstable, and those big ass skyscrapers. Now, I noticed compared to some of the other videos that I watched, there's a lot less skyscrapers than there were before. Like, I'm in Chinaris and I think there's really two, maybe three skyscrapers. And I've seen videos before on like day one when they were playing it that there was like, I don't even know, 8, 9. There was just a obscene amount of skyscrapers in the game. But I've been playing this for a while now today, and I have a bunch of clips that I'm probably just going to start randomly throwing in and changing the scenery around, because in Chinaris, when I logged on and started playing, there was about, I don't know, 10, 15 people online, and it didn't really seem like anyone was here. It seemed like they were all just somewhere else, maybe the airfield or something. Later on, people were flying around with like helicopters and stuff, so I think they all ran up to the Northwest airfield. Supposedly that is supposed to have a lot of good gear up there, or a lot of loot. It's supposed to look different, like that building right there. Now, some of the features, I guess I could talk about them since I'm not really playing the game. I'm kind of just voice overing the game of me playing the game, because me playing the game and talking at the same time just doesn't work. Like, I am not really coherent on my talking normally. So when I'm trying to play a game and I'm sitting there trying to discuss what's going on with the game, that's usually a time of fail, and I get all frustrated because mainly someone's shooting at me and I'm trying to discuss the nighttime lighting effects or what's going on with the zombie skins, and I need a can of baked beans to survive, or I'm trying to find a weapon. Yeah, it doesn't really work out too well. So I can actually go over all the features, or at least some of the features that actually make an impact in the game. And first of all, the first one that I wanted to talk about was the nighttime lighting. There's nighttime lighting in the game, which I want to say is similar to what goes on in Breaking Point. For those of you who played Breaking Point, you'll be really familiar with that. I believe in Breaking Point there's generators in the city that you can turn on and off, or ambush, or whatever you do, that can shut all the lights off and turn them back on. In this one, the lights are just on, so I'm assuming that all the street lamps, blah blah blah, all the street lights are on, and in I don't even know, maybe the houses, they have something on. I don't really know how the lighting would work at night in this game. I played it for a good couple hours and it didn't seem like the time changed at all, so maybe in about 3 or 4 hours I'll jump back on it and see if it's nighttime and see what's going on with that. The other thing is car radios. Now, I believe I do have footage of a car radio that I found before I started getting attacked and started bleeding and stuff like that. And it seemed really interesting. It seemed like they play the sound or the music that's actually in the files. So nothing too crazy, but it is kind of cool to have a car radio built into the mod. Like, it seems kind of useful, but I don't know how legit that would be, considering it's supposed to be post-apocalypse zombie kind of shooter thing. How would the radio station still work? Would they still just be playing commercials all the time? Who knows? Let's see. New sounds. Yeah, the new sounds are amazing. When you run around and you hear a zombie go woo 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 woo. And I'm not even shitting you. I have some sound files of the fucking zombies just sitting there going woo 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 woo. And I'll probably have to play those or find those and put them in just a second. That was ridiculous. Redesign Chinaris. Redesigns means that the creator of this pretty much just plopped in a bunch of shit everywhere. And then I believe in the next patch took most of it out. Because like the city, it seems to have more enterable buildings than normal. But at the same time, it seems like in other people's like videos and stuff, they had way more stuff in the first day, like way more buildings, like just rows and rows of buildings. And when I'm playing, it's just like, yeah, there's a skyscraper, there's this, there's that. There's really not much to say about that. There's some enterable buildings that they added, and that seems cool. I like that idea of adding more buildings. That means more loot. But on the downside to that, like, Chernarus lags like shit anyways when you go into it, and there's a bunch of people there and all the zombies are spawned. Like, you're lucky to get maybe 20-30 frames a second in Chernarus with like a good PC. But when you go into it now, when there's actually people there, like, yeah, I think the only reason I'm not lagging now is because, like, no zombies are outside. Like, none of them spawned for some reason. And on top of that, there was no people there. So there was no one else there besides me in the city. And I ran perfectly fine. I think I was getting 20 frames a second. But when I actually made it over to Electro, that's when all hell broke loose, because I ran into two people. One I was gunning down and I was going to try to kill him because he went into the store, but I lost him. And then I found some other guy, had some silent Makarov or some shit like that, and he was running around, and I thought about taking him out, but I was only getting probably around 5 to 6 frames a second. I dropped that much, and I'm not running everything on like crazy high, the highest settings you can go. I understand how this game works, and I understand the settings need to be, you know, really low for you to get the optimal performance. Even if you're running a really good PC, you're still gonna have to run this game really low just to get a good frame rate, because if not, you're gonna get killed. Like, if you're not getting, you know, at least 30 frames a second, if not more than 20, it's hard as hell to like sit there and try to snipe someone running by you, or try to, you know, take someone out with a hatchet when they're just zipping around you nonstop and they're not moving. Okay, so besides that, the other things is you can do blind fire, which was in Breaking Point. So if you hold down the turbo button, which you have to actually go into your controls and find the turbo button and then keybind it to something, which I believe most people put it to like control. You just hold down control and then you can blind fire to your right, left, or above. And you can actually flip people off, but I really don't know how to do it, and I didn't want to sit there and try to figure it out because it didn't seem really that important to me. I guess it would be funny to just like walk up and flip someone off and kill them, but yeah, not that important to me. Roleplay items. I don't understand the reasoning to this at all, with the fact that you can actually find money in the game, and you can find marijuana, cocaine. I don't understand that. I mean, it's kind of cool to have, you know, different stuff like that in the game. Like, the money would be cool if you can do something with the money, like maybe put a merchant in or something somewhere that you can buy food for, I don't even know, some amount that I don't even want to make up because I'm just too lazy like that. Or maybe you want to buy a weapon. That'd be cool to have the money for that. Also, weapons are customizable, so you can actually find a attachment, and then with certain weapons that have, I believe it's the letter M or W next to it, you can actually go in, and if you have the right attachment for it, you can customize it, which that's actually really cool. I think that should be in all DayZ games, or all DayZ mods of the mod of DayZ, however that works. Female zombies, which he actually took from Origins, or borrowed, or bought, or whatever he did, but they're from Origins, so if they look familiar, that's where those are from. I can't really talk too much about that, besides there's just female zombies in the game now. Okay. Also, they do have blast core visual effects. That pretty much means, I think, that when something crashes, like a helicopter or something blows up, the effect for that should be better than in the normal DayZ. DayZ mod, or DayZ whatever DayZ we're playing now. That actually seems kind of cool. And the last one for the features, was the fact that he's thinking about putting notebooks in the game that adds a story quest to it. So you can actually find notebooks and it'll do a storyline quest. That seemed kind of cool to just go around trying to find these books and doing a storyline to it. I have no clue how he's going to implement it, but it'll be really interesting to actually see that. The other things are vehicles. They have hang glider, parachute planes, which I don't know what a parachute plane is, but hang gliders, gyrocopters, cars, civilian vehicles. You can get a golf cart. I thought that was actually kind of funny to get a golf cart in the game. The one that I want the most, that I think everyone wants the most, is the fact that you can find a Nissan 350Z in the game. Yeah. And I think I almost found one when I was running around Electro. Some guy was cruising around in something. It sounded absurd. It was so just high-pitched and crazy loud. And I tried searching for it, but really getting 5 frames a second running through hordes of zombies and knowing that there's at least 3 people or so in that same area just didn't seem to work out for me, so I had to end up just leaving that whole zone at all, or altogether. And then I think that's about it. They did change the color of the ocean, so it does look a little bit different, but other than that, that's all I found in the game. Besides, you know, base building, weapons are supposed to be almost more than what's in Breaking Point, and yeah, just a bunch of character skins. He says he's working to add 30 more in, and there should be around 20 right now. I have seen a glitch on a couple people's channels where they were changing from a male into the female costumes or clothing, and it would actually change their gender, but it would keep their voice the same, so that was kind of glitchy. I have seen custom melee weapons that are in the game, but there's nothing that I could find when I was playing for a couple hours, but hopefully I could come across it later on. I don't know if I'm going to keep going anymore on showing off video for this, because I can't play in the cities, and I can't, you know, just go around in the outskirts trying to find loot. That would be the most boring video ever. I'd have to overlay the shit out of it all the time. It would probably be half the video of overlay and half of me just running through the woods. So, but we will see. Hopefully they are going to put out more updates for it. Maybe just decrease the spawn rate of the zombies, because I don't know how else to fix the FPS issue in big cities. Or maybe I can just sit there and buy all new computer. I don't know. Oh, and also 2 last things that I came across was, one was this weird anomaly, which I think I was talking about it earlier, but I found the footage for it. Pretty much it's a storm that has thunder, lightning in it. I don't know, but as soon as I got up to it, my legs broke earlier before that, and the server, I think either the server crashed or it DC'd me, so that was a thing. And the last thing, when I was talking about how random the buildings were put in, this is a grocery store, and I figured, oh, you can't go into it, but I noticed that there's loot on the floor right there. There's some flares. So I decide that I'm going to run to the back of the store and see if there's a way in, because there has to be. There's loot in the front door. So I go up here and it says open door. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I go in there and I find this. Yeah, this is how random the buildings are put in. So I guess technically if you want to hide out and ambush people that are coming in, there's only really one way in, and that's that door. And I tried jumping over this, and nothing actually happened. I couldn't get in there. I couldn't run around in the store. So yeah, this mod needs a lot of work. It was kind of fun to sit there and play around with it and see what was going on. But at the end of the day, there's, you know, better ones out there right now, and hopefully they can sit there and fix some of the issues that are going on with like the buildings and stuff and the FPS. So anyways, guys, I will see you guys later.